Sher Verick, who's a senior employment specialist at the International Labor Organization. He joins me live from Geneva. Thank you for joining us on the program. This Labor Day is particularly significant because of the coronavirus pandemic, and many people are out of work. What rights, if any, do people have during this time, particularly migrant workers in India and day wage earners?
Yes, indeed. Today is the International Labor Day, and it's a sad day for millions of workers around the world. Now, it's particularly challenging for the billions of informal economy workers who are the most vulnerable. They are the workers without access to social protection like unemployment benefits, have little in savings and access to assets. Now, in such countries as India and others, there are a large proportion of workers are in the informal economy, and they're the ones who need the most help at the moment. Indeed, the ILO's latest estimates released on the 29th of April have showed that almost 1.6 billion informal economy workers are the most vulnerable because of the lockdown and the economic decline in hard-hit sectors.
What about people who are still on the job, essential employees like healthcare workers who are on the front lines of fighting this pandemic, literally putting their lives on the line, many of them working extended hours without breaks. Some don't even have protective equipment to wear to protect themselves. What sort of rights do they have?
Yes, indeed. In this crisis, we have learned how essential these workers are. So in particular, the healthcare workers, but also those caring for the elderly, etc. And their rights need to be protected. They need access to this type of equipment. They need to have wages that are commensurate to the role they are playing in society. So we are calling on all countries and employers to do what they can to provide that type of protective equipment that is needed, but also to ensure that working times, rights in terms of other working conditions are respected.
Your organization, I know ILO, warns that nearly half of the global workforce is at risk of losing their livelihoods. Half. That's incredible. How worrying is this, especially for the effect on workers in the informal economy?
That's right. Our latest estimates released on 29th of April suggest that around 1.6 billion informal economy workers, representing more than half the workers around the world, are most vulnerable at this moment and are at risk of losing incomes and livelihoods. In fact, our estimates suggest that workers around these informal economy workers will experience a drop of 60% in the income in the coming month. So it is absolutely critical that we do what we can to support those workers in the informal economy in terms of getting transfers to them, money, food, etc., so that they can get through this very hard time.
Right. The ILO has called for urgent, targeted, and flexible measures to support workers and businesses, particularly smaller enterprises, those in the informal economy, and others who are vulnerable. What should those measures be?
So indeed, so we really are putting a lot of emphasis at the ILO on measures for both those businesses and the workers in the informal economy, which include these types of transfers that I just mentioned. So getting that cash and financial support to businesses is critical, and for workers and their families. Now, there we have to put extra attention on the existing measures that are in place to make sure they are also reaching these business and workers who are typically not covered by existing schemes. So extending those schemes to cover these businesses and workers, or establishing new programs to ensure that they can access financial support at this moment and in the future, because this is going to be a slow and painful recovery.
All right, certainly. Sher Verick in Geneva, thank you.